The Honda Accord had been sitting in the driveway long before sunrise, its silver paint catching the faint glow of a street lamp. Daniel slid into the driver's seat, greeted by the familiar scent of cloth upholstery warmed by years of commutes, late-night drives, and conversations that never needed to be written down. The engine turned over with the smooth confidence that had made the Accord his quiet companion for nearly a decade. It wasn't the flashiest car on the road, but it carried a kind of reliability that felt almost human, as if it understood the rhythm of his life. He pulled onto the empty road, listening to the soft hum beneath the hood. The Accord never raised its voice. It simply glided, shifting seamlessly, asking for little more than fuel and the occasional reminder that even dependable things need care. Daniel remembered the road trip he took 2 summers ago, where the car climbed winding mountain passes without complaint, its temperature gauge steady even when his own nerves were not. He had pulled over at the summit, stepped out into the thin air, and looked back at the Accord as though it had been the one carrying the weight of the climb. Now, as the city woke up around him, the Accord slipped through traffic with the ease of memory. The steering felt crisp, responding instantly to his hands, as if it anticipated where he wanted to go before he decided. He had driven newer cars, flashier, faster, louder, but none of them had the quiet precision of this one. The Accord didn't need to shout to prove itself. It simply did its job day after day, a model of consistency in a world that constantly shifted. The morning light spread across the dashboard, revealing tiny scratches and worn spots that told their own story. There was the mark from the time he dropped his keys during a snowstorm, the faint scuff from moving boxes during a stressful move, the polish-thin area where his hand rested during long drives. Each imperfection felt like a signature, a reminder that perfection was never the goal, endurance was. As he cruised down the highway, Daniel rolled the windows slightly, letting in a ribbon of cool air. The Accord adjusted to the wind, its frame steady, its suspension smoothing out the road's imperfections. He thought of all the times he had relied on this car without fully acknowledging it. Late-night airport runs, quick escapes to the coast, visits to friends he no longer saw as often. The Accord had carried heartbreak and joy with equal calm, its cabin a private world where he could think without interruption. Traffic thickened near the river, brake lights glowing like a scattered constellation. The Accord slowed gently, never jerking, never complaining. Daniel tapped the steering wheel rhythmically, watching the city's skyline rise behind a curtain of early fog. He realized that the car made these moments easier, not by being extraordinary, but by being consistently itself. When he finally reached his destination, he sat for a moment, engine idling softly. He thought about upgrading. People always asked when he planned to trade it in. But the idea felt wrong, like replacing an old friend simply because someone else thought he should. The Accord had been more than transportation. It had been a witness to his years, a vessel for his stories. He turned off the engine, and the silence that followed felt earned, peaceful. Daniel stepped out, locked the door, and glanced back at the car, knowing he would return to it later, ready for another journey. The Honda Accord waited without impatience, steady as ever, a reminder that some companions don't need to be remarkable to be irreplaceable.